For more on the situation in Iraq, we are joined once again by Michael O'Hanlon, the Director of Research and a Senior Fellow at the Brookings Institution. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So although the number of attacks and civilian deaths is down sharply in Iraq over the past few years, yesterday's attack seems to suggest that the militants are going after much more high-profile targets. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's a legitimate worry. And yes, I do believe we're going to have to, or Prime Minister Maliki is going to have to, do some things he might not have wanted to, such as restoring some of the blast barriers that have been taken down, and obviously scrutinizing the forces that are manning some of these checkpoints, because it appears the bombers penetrated a number of checkpoints where they frankly should have been identified and stopped and found out. Because if you're carrying several hundred pounds or more of explosive, you can't hide that in a truck that's properly searched. So I think we're going to have to look for some tactics to counter this, because it probably is correct to say that, yes, indeed, the extremists are going after high-profile buildings.
So beyond measures of violence, what other benchmarks best reflect what life is like for ordinary Iraqis today?
Well, you know, I do believe that the overall level of civilian fatalities is quite significant, and Iraqis certainly are happier about their lives and their future now. And I think the best indicator, best reason why, is this reduction in random killing. And so, tragically, this weekend's events were an exception to that trend, but the trend is nonetheless real and has been ongoing now for a couple of years. But certainly you want to ask people to what extent they feel safe from other kinds of crime, from kidnapping, from thievery. These are also important determinants of the nature of life, the nature of the security environment. Do they feel they can send their kids to school? Do they feel they can go out to the market and shop? Public opinion polling is often a useful complement to the actual numbers, because it tells you to what extent people's psychology has shifted back to a more normal state, and therefore the degree to which our overall objective of building up, credibility and legitimacy for the government is really working.
And there are also some positive economic numbers. For example, oil production is up to pre-war levels, and export revenue, I believe, is also rising. Who benefits from that influx of money? Do ordinary Iraqis see it?
Well, yes, there are a number of improvements in the economy, and frankly, oil exports may not even be the leading one. Electricity production, for example, has improved much more notably. But in terms of who benefits, well, Iraq has suffered in the last year, as has any other oil producer around the world, from the decline in oil prices. And so Iraq's actually been in a bit of an old-fashioned budget crisis. But it's a little bit of what the rest of the world is facing as well, and Iraqis are handling it with a certain sense of normalcy and professionalism in how they try to make cuts here and there in various government programs. I think civilians and citizens on the streets in Iraq have not seen radical improvements in their material quality of life. What's really improved dramatically, as we were discussing, is the security environment, and I think that's where most people would identify the progress.
All right, Michael O'Hanlon, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.